And we're live. All right, welcome to episode 9 of the Geek Culture and Philosophy podcast. My name is Mike.
And my name is RC.
And on this show, we like to talk about nerd culture stuff, geek culture stuff, current events, politics, science, philosophy. Obviously, it's in the name. And stuff that we just like, stuff that interests us, and hopefully will interest you as well. I'm having an okay day today. So my phone's been broken for a week, and I found out that I should get the new one by Monday or Tuesday. We're recording on Saturday for people who don't know. So about a couple more days, I'll have a new phone. So I'm happy about that. How's your weekend going, RC?
My weekend is doing pretty well. Nothing out of the ordinary. I had a pretty easy day today, so I'm happy about that. I wanted to ask you about your phone, though. Have you found this week without your cell phone kind of like liberating, where you're not like glued to technology and the internet all the time?
Sort of, but I use my phone all the time for work, so it's kind of shitty for that reason.
Okay.
It's a little bit of an it's a little bit of an inconvenience there. But I mean, other than that, I even thought about going to like Walmart to like buy like a burner phone or whatever just for this week. But I mean, the days just kept going by, and I was just like, fuck it at this point. Like, I don't even need it. So
yeah,
it'll just be a couple more days without it. So yeah, I don't know. Like, my phone is how I stay up to date on like current event. I know it's really sad, right? But like, I don't read the newspaper, right? And I don't
think people do at this point. Baby boomers do, and that's about it.
Yeah, and I don't watch cable usually unless it's a sports program.
Yeah.
So that's about it. So I usually get most of my news from like people I trust on Twitter or like stuff like that, or Reddit. You know, they give me like current events. So other than that, I honestly, man, my glued. I mean, yeah, it really sucks to not have the phone. I'll say, but it's not that bad because even when I'm home, I'm just glued to my laptop, so it's not like it's not like I'm like reading a book or something. So.
I find it so depressing though, because I got a laptop computer in like late 2008, and I read so many books before that, and now that I have the phone, or I'm not the phone, now that I have a laptop computer and I've had one ever since, my reading has gone way down.
Dude, yeah, I used to read I used to read. Dude, that used to be the main thing I did. You know what it is? It was when I stopped going to school, for me, really, because like, it was like looked down upon at school to like just be on your phone, obviously. So I would just have books. That and like all my favorite series that I loved as a kid and like grew up with, like kind of ended. Well, I mean, I was younger when Harry Potter ended. I know it's like gay to talk about, but I did love those books. I read them a bunch, and I was a really big fan of the Aragon series. I know they made most people who haven't read the books were exposed to the really, really, really shitty movie they made.
Yeah, that movie got buried pretty quickly.
Yeah, that movie's awful and should have never existed. I'm really sad. Like, when I was a kid and that movie came out, I like begged my father to go take me to it.
Yeah.
And like it was like on a weekend where we were staying in Philly, and he didn't want to go to the movies because like it apparently was like expensive, and it was like a weekend night, and like my dad's cheap, so he like what he was just like, we'll go see matinee on Monday, and I was like, no, I want to go see it now. I love Aragon, and then I was like, oh my god, this is awful. That was such a disappointment. But those books were so good. It's one of my favorite. I have to reread the. Thing is, it's like, so I hate the whole digital book thing. I don't know about you.
Oh, like reading on a Kindle or a.
I'll never own one of those. I don't care how. I don't care if they start burning all the physical books. Yeah. I'll just stop reading books then, because like, but yeah, I now I think about, I'm gonna go on eBay after the show and see what I can get the set for. But anyway, a little off topic there, but sorry.
Right, we are both dragons in spirit. We must maintain our hordes, right? What? Like, gotta get more stuff.
Well, yeah, no, I need more stuff. And speaking of stuff, like, well, I mean, I got some stuff this week. I know we wanted to talk about acquisitions.
Yes.
So I guess we'll lead into that. So books, I bought some Pathfinder books recently to help with my Pathfinder playing. I don't know if I mentioned on the show, I play Pathfinder, and I find it really fun. It's very complicated. Here's the thing: it's a mix between it's being super complicated and me hating it and me having fun. So I love like the role play aspect and being creative aspect of it.
Yes.
But I hate every time I have to level up the character, it's like a chore though, because I have to like read these books and all these websites to like figure out exactly how I want to make everything on my character, and it's honestly tiring. And I never want to do it, but I mean it's worth it. And it's like a it's almost like a it's like a payoff at the end, because then you get to like have fun with your other friends while you're playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You play way more than I do. I dip in and out to the campaign, but when I did play, I'm having a fun time.
We're in a campaign together, and RC, I actually like RC's character, but he doesn't come as much as I'd like. But what can you do?
Yeah, well, I'd like to be present more often, but that's I'm busy.
No, shit happens. Like he's like an actual a professional person. The rest of us are just kidding. If anybody else is listening to this, you're all okay. But
I would be surprised if they're listening to it.
I would be surprised if they were listening to it as well. But I'm gonna say is like in the game you also play the Hobbit in that one in addition to
yes.
on the show here.
Yes, I like the halfling race. I think it's pretty cool. Just like little people that aren't that weird. Like they're not. They don't have like different colored skin or anything like an Oompa Loompa. They just look like little people. I like that.
Oh yeah, no, and hobbits are cool. Believe me, hobbits are cool. Anyway, what have you acquired this week?
Well, I'm trying to learn more about the Android universe and get more into this game called Android Netrunner, which I've probably mentioned before in the show. So the way that those cards are released, it's not like Magic cards where there are there's like you buy booster packs and they're like you get random cards in there. The way Android Netrunner works is they come in they call them data packs, and they are there's no randomization to the cards. So when you buy a certain data pack, you'll get 3 copies each of 20 cards. So and three copies is the maximum amount that you can put in your deck when you're building. So you're guaranteed to get a playset of each of these 20 cards in each data pack. They retail for about $15. So I go on online and I try to get them cheaper than $15. So I bought 2 data packs for Android Netrunner. One is called The Source, and the other one is called Quorum. I haven't looked into it as to what cards they contain. I'm just slowly trying to get the whole set eventually. So,
well, yeah, and that's something that's actually realistic because of the way they sell it. Obviously, where there's no randomization.
Yeah, it's all about like whenever I decide to make the purchase, and I'll eventually I'll get there. And I was actually thinking, I was talking to one of my coworkers this week about possibly selling my Lilianas of the Veil because they are going for I don't know, somewhere between $120 and $140, and I'm looking on eBay and they're selling for about $120. I may sell a few of those because I think I have 3 that I'm not using.
Oh man!
And I could I could convert like 1 Magic card into like 12 data packs for Android Netrunner, which would be kind of cool. But
yeah, that actually would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
like I bet I could like probably build like that Forcible cube I want to build. I think if I like sold like one, if I had a Liliana of the Veil to sell and I sold it, I'd probably pay for the whole cube, including the sleeves.
Really? Wow.
Well, like the cards, as far as I experience, there's expensive cards that are in standard, basically.
Yeah.
But once they rotate out, like their version of Legacy or Modern or whatever, while it is played, is just so unpopular compared to standard that like the cards just don't hold as much value.
So, like, what would you say is the most, if you were to guess, what's the most expensive card that's not in standard in Force of Will?
Are we
talking like under $30? Or I mean, it's definitely under $100, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Well, it depends because I know they have these. Okay, so I don't know every card and I don't keep up with the top 8 deck lists. I did for like a month when I was trying to like start playing competitively, but like the community was so small where I live that like I just like I was playing like the same 2 people over and over again, and I was done. You know,
right.
So after that, I like stopped keeping up with it. I like guessed what the best deck was gonna be before it happened. I was actually a little proud of myself.
Okay.
Because like I ended up playing a ruler. His name is. You could just look up the nine-tailed fox if you're looking up the cards.
Sure.
So I forget. Lilius Petal, I think is the name of the front side. Lilias petal, like a flower. And so that deck was being played, but then it became like the best deck, like right after I stopped playing, or like tried to play. And it wasn't like my exact list or whatever. I'm not trying to take credit. I just thought it was funny that like I was on the right track of like what the best deck was. Uh, but it's basically like a guy that lets you like sacrifice your own creatures in a land to like put out these like broken creatures from your sideboard.
Okay.
And I was like, so I like read that card and I was like, oh, so you can just like play these guys that give you value when they die or enter the battlefield and then sacrifice them. And then you can get like guys that like one guy like ramped you mana in addition to being like a 12/12 flyer. And like there's another guy that like was like a 20/20 that like killed a creature when it entered play, and also you gain life equal to the creature's toughness. Like, and there's also like a guy that like was like a duress when he comes into play, in addition to being like a 9/9 flyer or something. So like that was pretty cool.
Okay, I'm looking at that card, and it looks like he goes for about $12 now.
Yeah, so like he got the cards got banned from Standard.
Okay.
So that would be, I think he still played, but I think I didn't ban him. They banned one of the cards he goes and gets. I think it was the Griffin one, the one that gives you lands.
Okay.
I think they just banned him. So really, like, and that was like the first card you always got because it ramped you in mana. Well, because like not only did it ramp you mana, it like gave you a higher chance of hitting the special. So he had like a special what they call magic stones or dual lands, basically. That was like specific for him for his ability. And so like, and since you only have 10 in your 10 stones in your deck, 4 of them are that one. Right, so you have a pretty good chance of hitting one if you flip over 2 cards, which is what that one creature did. Okay. And I know this sounds boring, but like that's just how I was. But the so yeah, I forgot where I was going with this, but yeah, the
just like the price of
the prices, yeah, prices.
Cards.
So like the thing is like there's these things called uber rares, I know. Which
yeah, I'm looking at the Lilius Petal Uber Rare did sell for $115. That was on March 3rd, so pretty recently.
Yeah, so like those were like okay. So I heard recently that they made the Ubers way less rare.
Okay.
And people are mad about that because sure. Like I guess because like it ruined like the specialness of them, because apparently the Ubers were like super rare. They were like, I think they were even rarer than like expeditions are in Magic, right?
Oh wow. Okay.
So they're like they were just like they were super rare. So yeah, those versions of the cards would be pretty expensive, basically due to scarcity. Because the Ubers would be like the rulers, which would be like the basically the EDH commanders, but but you use them in everything for standard and everything in Force of Will. So
have you ever seen an Uber rare card before?
In person?
Yes.
Yeah, I think some of the guys I hung out with a little bit had some. I mean, they're like whatever.
So if you looked at, I mean, if you compared them side by side to like a regular foil, like a regular premium card, what's the difference?
I think they come in like black and white and stuff. It looks cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how it looks in the photo. It's like more of a monochrome thing. Or
I think it's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, because it's like I think that's all of them. I'm not sure. Okay. Like I said, I'm into Force of Will. I like keep up with some of the stuff. I don't have like all the cards memorized yet or whatever.
Sure. Sure.
But yeah, I think the Ubers come in like black and white, and like that looks cool. And like I love the foiling process on Force of Will cards in general. Like, and like the card stock quality is so good as opposed to Magic. Like the cards are they seem thick, and just like the whole. So I don't know. So from what I've heard, Force of Will is in trouble as a game as a whole. Like
Okay.
they're thinking like they cut back the amount they print by like a lot recently. And they also cut back, and I think you heard me tell you that like the boxes came in like this really nice material before. Like it was like kind of like almost like a like even better, like a little better than like fat pack material for Magic.
Well, okay.
And that's like the booster boxes came in that, but now they went right back to like regular cardboard.
Hmm.
Because I think they're just cutting costs because the game's not doing that great. I think the market in Japan is still really good, but the United States it seems to be failing a little bit.
Okay.
Which sucks because I think the game is a really good game, and I think the people who run it are really good. I think they're really bad at balancing, which is important for a card game, so I can understand that being a flaw. But they got everything else, like the art. Like the thing is, like the things that like will get someone into the game to begin with, like are all right? Like the cards look cool, like the foils look like there's a foil in every pack, so you get to see plenty of foils. The colors pop, the art's great. There's big titties on the women, right?
Yeah.
Like the MTG Purple guy has been talking about Force of Will recently, and like his classic example is like they put titties on everything. Like there's like a card, like I think I saw the card when I first started playing too. It's like hilarious. It's like a dog, and it's not like a dog person. It's just like a dog. And it has like huge tits. Like it's weird. Like and I'm just like, okay, like that's fine. But to me, like the perp guy says, and I agree. It's like an example of like, this game's not going to be invaded by SJWs, right? Because like they're putting tits on a dog, so they're not afraid to do anything. You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's based out of Japan, they're not going to cave to that SJW crap.
Yeah, they're not going to care. That's the thing that appeals to me about the game, as opposed to Magic, where we were just talking about before the stream started. There's a bunch of women with shaved heads on all the Magic cards now.
Yeah. We'll talk about that when we talk about the
trailer.
Dominaria.
Okay, the spoilers.
Did you want to go into that segment now?
I mean, we could. I mean, I feel like we're just leading into. I've been talking a lot. So, anything else you picked up this week other than your Netrunner stuff, which I think is cool. I can't wait to play it with you again. By the way.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm trying to we're trying to get some games in when I can and keep up with it and learn the game a little better so I can teach it more easily to people and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm not going to give up on that game. I think there's a lot of potential there, and it's a Richard Garfield game, so it's gotta be good.
Yeah, no, I like Richard Garfield games. That's why I had hopes for Dominaria because he was on the design team, but it looks like a lot of shit got fucked.
Well, at least in the art department.
He's probably not in control of that. So
no. I mean, they probably commissioned the art like over a year ago.
Yeah,
prior to the cards even being designed. They probably knew they were going to have like Jaya Ballard and like all the characters and stuff in there.
Sure.
Do you have any more things you want to say about acquisitions this week, or do you want to go into Dominaria?
I'll say real quick. I got one of those. So Unsleeved Media, Jeremy does a thing once a year where he puts out what he calls these like MTG FAT packs, PHAT. So basically, it's just like basically a fat pack sized box, maybe like a little bigger. Filled with it's supposed to, I would call it a little close to like the deck builders toolkits they used to sell, but like a little better than those. So like you'll get like mythics and rares, and then like a bunch of commons and uncommons with like foils interspersed throughout those, and then like he puts in like some extra stuff like some spin downs. I got a booster pack of Rivals of Ixalan. It didn't have anything in it, but I mean, it was Rivals of Ixalan. What can you expect? And
at this point, the only thing you care about is the Phoenix. If you want that,
the Phoenix, or I think there's like a dinosaur card that's good. There's like a green dinosaur, Carnage something, or is that not in that?
He's an original Ixalan, not Rivals.
Oh, never mind then. Okay. I thought, you can see how much I'm keeping up with Standard nowadays. Though, which I might build a Standard deck. If Mono Black is good, I might build a Mono Black Standard deck.
Got a soft spot in your heart for Mono Black?
Well, not just the soft spot. It's just they put in a Cabal Coffers card. It isn't exactly Cabal Coffers, but it's like a little better and a little worse.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's worse than it's definitely worse than original Cabal Coffers, but it could be good. Well, that and I want to combine it with the if you saw the new what's it called, the Joss Vess or whatever, the Liliana's brother card.
Wait, you're talking about the Zombie Knight?
Yeah, the Zombie Knight. Yeah.
Okay, who makes like a whole like crap load of zombies?
Yeah, I want to play that guy for sure. That sounds awesome to me.
Okay.
Like, I know you're just like, oh, I know the standard for your cards you like are pretty high with your whole pithing needle thing, but
right.
But for me, I'm
this.
Yeah, but like the thing is like I'm just pleased to be able to just cast 10 mana and make like 1,000 zombies.
Sure.
Like, that sounds like fun to me.
Yeah.
But
you like that card, Army of the Damned? Did that appeal to you or not really?
I played it in standard. So
okay, all right. You like making a lot of dudes.
So you can so like I just like so I was playing so in that standard I played blue black control when it was good. And I played like a bunch of jank, like, so blue black control was a real deck, but I played a bunch of janky cards because I couldn't like afford most of the good ones. I think I was lucky enough in drafts to open up 2 Snapcaster Mages, so I at least had 2 of those.
Okay.
To like play, and I opened a 3rd one because I got like an Innistrad box for like Christmas or something, I think, from like my dad. So I was able to like I got like a 3rd. So I had 3 Snapcaster Mages. So the deck was, because like that card was so good that like you could play like shitty cards and still win. So like I used to play, my finisher was like Army of the Damned though. So like I got just like 13 2/2 zombies and be like, go, and then like untap and kill you. And like I would just play. I played a Praetor's Grasp. I don't know if you remember what that card does.
Excuse me. That's is that a black card that goes to your hand and like removes something from your hand?
It removes a card from your opponent's deck, and then you can play that card. But it was but they made that
shouldered, like cutting someone's throat on the card.
Yeah. But that was before they retemplated. Like all the cards that do that now say you can use any color of mana to cast that spell.
Yeah.
But that didn't say that. So if it wasn't a blue or black spell, I couldn't cast it. So if you played against like a red-green deck, if you didn't get like a colorless spell, there's no way you were casting it. The one time I got a guy's Inferno Titan out of his deck, and that was like his only win condition.
Nice.
So like we ended up playing for like another 20 minutes, but I knew he couldn't win the game. So it was good. Sorry, this has been like the Mike tells stupid stories so far, the show.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm following you.
But
so you were talking about the Fat Pack from Jeremy.
Sorry. Yeah, I always get way off topic.
That's so I'm keeping track.
The Fat Pack from Jeremy. So I got a couple good. Like there was like a Lotus Cobra in there. There was like a my favorite thing was it had the Arch Enemy deck for Nicol Bolas.
Okay.
In there. So it had like this, like I think it's
the entire deck. He gave you the entire deck.
Like the whole deck. Yeah, it came sealed. And
what did this whole thing cost you, if you don't mind me asking?
This costed me, I think it was like $38.
Oh wow, that's not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. And what I wanted to say was, this kind of product would not usually interest me.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided I wanted to support Jeremy financially in at least a little bit way I could.
Sure.
Because I think he's doing really good work for the Magic community.
Yeah.
This is the point I was going for in the beginning, was that I think so when I first saw him when I was like first in the Magic, right? I didn't really like him because he just seemed like a weird dude that just opened packs, and I just like didn't really follow him. But then with all this stuff, and he's like the biggest channel that's like speaking out against all this SJW stuff, and more importantly, the pedophiles in the Magic Gathering community.
Yeah.
That need to be exposed and taken out, and policies need to be drastically changed to keep them out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back to the Fat Pack thing. He gave me like the Nicol Bolas deck, and I really like this art for Nicol Bolas Planeswalker it gives you. I would say if I had a non-foil cube, this would probably be the art I would use for it. So I think it's cool.
Planeswalker, it's the one from Arch Enemy?
Yes.
I'll have to look that up.
It's really cool because like the Planeswalkers always break the border.
Yeah.
Like this one like has like his horns like going right into the words of like right into Planeswalkers. It like blocks like 3 of the letters.
Okay.
I think that's
a cool. Non-foil card?
Yeah, it's a non-foil card.
All right, Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. Let's see what he looks like. Oh, yeah, and he's like centered in the card?
Yeah, he's like centered in the card.
That's a non-foil card? That's cool.
Yeah, this card's a non-foil.
Oh, man, all right. Well, I have to decide. Do I like Nicol Bolas Planeswalker or do I like Nicol Bolas God Pharaoh?
Well, I mean, Nicol Bolas Planeswalker is one of my favorite cards ever printed, so I'm very biased.
Okay. I just think it's cool that he's the God Pharaoh.
He's the God Pharaoh. What are you gonna? I would get an ultra of him with as Trump, and you can like trigger people.
I'm giving him the Roman salute right now.
Give him the Roman salute.
All hail the God Pharaoh.
Oh.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, that's cool. I like that artwork. I look at a card like that and I'm like, oh, this is probably the foil that they stick on the front of the deck. I'm not interested in it, but I have a thing for non-foils. So
I know, that's why I brought it up.
Thank you.
But yeah, acquisitions, I think that would be it. I mean, I got my new phone coming. I thought about buying some Force of Will playmats. Before they jump up in price. I'm still debating on whether to do that or not. Because you can get them for pretty cheap on eBay, and they're like specially made. So like they have so you know Magic playmat, if you like use it a lot, the corners start to get like frayed.
Yeah.
But they have these like the forcible ones have extra stitching along the borders. To like
I've seen that. I've seen that on other playmats, but never a Magic one. That's cool that it's that durable.
Yeah, and like there's some really cool arts you could get. For like obviously it's forcible art, and forcible art's awesome to me. So,
cool.
Yeah, and the fact that they're durable. I want to get. The thing is, like, I wouldn't use. Like, the thing is, like, I think of like I want to get 2 of them so I could like break them out while I'm like. So when I finally build the forcible cube, right, I could break out my 2 forcible playmats to like play forcible cube with someone to like teach them forcible.
That's cool.
Like,
yeah.
I think that'd be like a nice little touch, you know.
Definitely.
But yeah, I haven't really like acquired much other than that. Like I said, the Fat Pack thing. I mean, like I said, like honestly, it's not that bad, especially if you want to like give it as a gift, to, like a newer player, because it's definitely better than like I think it's better than like giving someone like 2 starter decks, basically. Because sure. all the cards are like newer, obviously, because like the way he makes them is he makes them with just stuff he's acquired over the year, basically.
Okay.
So like all the commons and uncommons are either like they're all Amonkhet, Kaladesh, and Ixalan, and then and Masters 25.
Right. Any did you get any like real jank cards? You know, like when they say like, oh, there's mythics in it, and then you get like an Archangel's Light or something like that.
Well, I mean, the mythic I got was Lotus Cobra. I don't think that one's that bad.
Okay, so you got 1 mythic, and then you got the Nicol Bolas.
Yeah. Well, that came in like the deck. I'm trying to find where's the stack of rare. I'm like looking through it right now for the rares that I got. It was like Lotus Cobra, and yeah, there was some janky rares, I'll say.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like he put some good stuff into him. It's a little bit of a random thing too, like when you're like getting a booster pack, because people. I mean, he's confirmed. He puts like there's like not like expeditions, but like it'll be like Amonkhet and like Amonkhet and Kaladesh and Venture masterpieces in some of them and stuff like that. He always said he says like the idea behind them is to like get you more, like basically like get you what your money's worth and then some.
Okay.
And yeah, like I said,
you feel like you got more than $38 worth of stuff?
No, like honestly, I feel like mine's a little bit of a shit one.
Okay.
But like I said, like I'm sure there are better ones, and I don't like the thing is like even this go round, he sold more than like he he had. Basically, so like he was only going to sell like 40 of them, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And when I went to order one, I was like, oh, I actually got one. And then he like announced on the show like, oh, I forgot to close the thing, so I ended up selling like 200 of these. So he had to like buy a bunch of extra magic product to like cover the orders.
That makes me feel good that he has that much of a following, even though Wizards is like trying hard as hell to like blackball him and everything.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's cool that he still has all that support. I like that.
No, it's definitely cool. I'm like, where are the I'm like looking through all the cards right now. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Well, it's cool that you were able to support him too.
Yeah, no, and like I said, like this kind of product would not appeal to me. Because I'm not interested in like acquiring any Magic cards right now, but I wanted to support him financially in a way that at least I got something out of it, you know?
Sure.
Because I could always just like donate to his Patreon and like not get anything back for it. But I even me, like I want my value. So I at least wanted to like try and like get one of these boxes, see if I could get something good.
Yeah.
But like anyway, I could like support him financially because like I said, like when I first like, but now he's when I first met him, I like had an iffy opinion of him, but now it's just like he's just one of the best people working in like Magic media right now, and basically the best person. He had help from other people, and there's other like YouTubers that helped him and stuff like that. But he basically single-handedly is like taking on Wizards to try and protect children from predators. And to me, there's like almost no higher goal that someone could have. I don't need any other thing. Yeah, and the thing is like I don't care what reasons he has for doing it or whatever, because people. One of the criticisms they'll offer is they'll be like, "Oh, he's just doing it because he hates Wizards because they banned him," and I'm like, even if that's true, he's still doing the most morally correct thing.
That's right. Yeah, right. A person's motivations don't really matter. It's like their behavior and like what results from their behavior is what.
Yeah, matters. like I was saying, like you could like I don't know. Like if you just like what's something I like a lot like if you just like hate Magic, right, the game, right, you're just like really shitty for Magic and you want to take it down, you just hate the game, right, and the way you're going to take it down is you're going to expose all the pedophiles in the community to like force them to actually fix the problem, you know, like that person is still doing the best thing. Even if their like motivations aren't like what you want them to be, like they're like I'll still stand behind that person because they're doing the best thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think short of murdering children, I think abusing children is probably like the second worst thing you could ever do. So
yeah, like those people
fighting.
I hope they, I don't believe hell exists, but for those people, I hope it does.
Well, anyway, when you continue to look for your rares, do you want to talk about the Magic pedophile thing as we go into that? Because
I just wanted to make a statement. Like when it came out this week that you had a person who was still working in the Magic community, playing, judging for 2 years after they had 21 counts of a lot of them were basically like lewd, basically not lewd. They wouldn't use that word. It was like of inappropriate acts with a minor under the age of 15.
Okay.
When you have those kind of people in your community and you do nothing about it, you're actively participating in the evil. Then, and if you want to make,
was there any? I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Was there any way for them to know about it? Was it public knowledge, or was it knowledge that they?
If there was no way for them to know about it, it's still their fault. If there was nothing in place, just like there's something in place for both Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon,
yes,
where they have background checks for these people, right?
Right.
If there was absolutely no way you could have known that a guy who was charged with this kind of stuff, and people knew it because you even show like people him posting pictures on Instagram and someone who one of the comments is like, this guy's like a child rapist, right?
All right.
Like people knew, and like he lives in like Las Vegas, which is a big Magic community.
Sure.
Yeah, and he judged. There's no way that people didn't know, and even if you give them the benefit of the doubt and say they did know, they
Okay, I just wonder, like, if say Wizards of the Coast sets up a program where they do a background check on everybody who wants to be a judge. Okay, fine. What about somebody who's like been a judge for a couple of years after passing that initial background check, and then they commit these type of acts? I mean, while they're like going to court,
you do them every year. Then you do them every year.
You do a background check every year.
Yeah, or every two. Well, yeah, I don't care. All right. The background check. If you do, they did the math. Like if you order from like a place that does the background checks, on like a mass scale, like a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like they'll give you they'll do it for $15 a background check, which to a company like Wizards should be nothing. And honestly, if you really need to and you want to pass it off to the players, that's fine. If the judges have to pay an extra $15 a year to make sure kids aren't being abused, sure. I don't care. I don't care.
All right, I can see that.
I don't give a shit. Like I really like. If you're poor or whatever, I'll contact me. I'll give you the $15. All right. That's what Jeremy did, by the way. He knew that people were going to say that like people could not afford to do the background checks, so he started a Kickstarter and said he put in $1,000 of his own money and said anybody else wants to donate, go ahead. I will give it to any judge that says they cannot afford a background check to let them get one.
Oh, nice. What are the updates on that? How much money did he raise?
I think he got over $3,000 before he shut it down and refunded all the money. Because he did it after they announced that they were going to start doing the background checks.
Okay.
And he wasn't going to be needed for that. So
good for him. Look at that. Even out of spite, he's still getting good stuff done.
Exactly. By the way, I found some of my rares. I got a mythic. It was other than I got a Lotus Cobra, but my other mythic was a Gold Knight Castigator, so pretty bad.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
I got an uncard though, an unrare he gave me. Got the Water Market.
Okay.
I got a Falcon Wrath Gorger, a Rampaging Ferocidon, which probably would be good if it wasn't banned in Standard.
They banned that card pretty quickly. I don't know why.
They banned it like before it was even out, I think, or before the set was even out.
That card, does it seem super powerful to you?
I think they just it's not, but I think they just wanted they
didn't like that red-green deck that was going around, right?
No, I think it was just mono red. I think when they banned the energy cards, they banned this at the same time.
Yeah.
And basically the reasoning was that they predict that if the energy cards were banned, mono red would become oppressive. So they just went ahead and banned this preemptively.
All right.
So I mean, that shows you how much shit Wizards got done on the table, but has got on the table. But yeah, I just wanted to make a statement that like anybody not actively participating in the Wizards company to get this changed, or in their PR department or their marketing, or whoever has any power in this area, anyone who's worried about anybody who's hiring or worried about people's mentions on social media and whether or not they're like alt-right Nazis at playing your game, like you can go fuck yourself. I'm done with this. Like it's already been horrible, but the fact that like this kind of disgusting behavior, like it's already been disgusting. Like I don't want to defend the people that came before this guy that got announced this week, but like to me this is just like, because I didn't want to talk about this on the show. I was talking about this, like I kind of wanted to like not have to talk about this, but I need to, like, the show is a way for me to vent my feelings of the week, and that just really disgusted me this week.
Yeah.
It's awful. And like I said, like I'm boycotting Magic. Like I bought this thing from Unsleeved Media, but the money goes to him, not the Wizards. So but I'm not buying any Magic product. I'm not playing Magic online. Like forget this. Like change your policies. Like there needs to be until there are large changes in the people running Wizards, then I'm not going to buy cards anymore. It's awful. Like not even just like the card stock. It was just the card stock, but now it's really just the people in charge. Like as long as like, honestly, I'll just have to boycott till Mark Rosewater's gone, because that guy's an idiot, and I hope he goes somewhere else.
Yeah, he seemed to be okay in the old days. Now he's like really losing it. Yeah,
well, I think he has a giant ego. I think a lot of people have made that observation. And
there's nobody like as big as him in the company to kind of put him in his place where maybe there used to be. bigger people there.
Yeah, he's like the biggest fish in the little pond that is Wizards. Because you got to remember, even though Wizards is a pretty big, like, sells a lot of cards, they're a big company. There's not a lot of people that work for them. They don't have that many employees.
Sure.
So,
sure.
So yeah, like the MTG Purple guy. I think he changed his name to just Perp on
yeah, right.
on YouTube. But like, for example, what was I gonna say? When this whole thing, like, Richard Garfield versus Mark Rosewater, right?
Okay.
And that this whole thing is like Mark Rosewater. I think it was like he announced when he was writing an article about how Richard helped design Dominaria, and he starts to talk about like how he got on the design team, and he's like, "Oh, for the longest time, Richard was always asked that like if he would be on another Magic design team, and he said, yeah, if anybody asked me." And Mark Rosewater was always asked, would you bring Richard on to design another Magic set? And he was like, yeah, anytime he asks. And I'm like, and Perp was like, and I agree. It's like, no, Richard Garfield does not ask you to be on a design team.
Yeah,
Richard
right.
Garfield is the granddaddy. He's got money. He's got projects. He does other stuff other than Magic. Like, your Mark Rosewater's greatest credit was being like a writer for Roseanne. Right before he was like a game
mediocre to shitty show, and he only wrote for like what 2 or 3 episodes or something.
Yeah, something stupid. I actually like the Roseanne show, by the way. But no, not because the thing is, like, he's very unfunny. If you've ever listened to his Drive to Work podcast, this is not you would not guess he was a comedy writer, right?
Well, besides his last name.
Oh, well, yeah. Besides his last name and his pulling at him, his lisp. Anyway, but like, yeah, but that's the thing is like the only reason is Mark Rosewater had to swallow his pride and his ego to call Richard Garfield and ask him to be on the design team, because Richard Garfield does not have to call you Mark Rosewater, right, to ask to be. No, he's never like he's like in the like, I'm trying to like, how can I relate it to like another thing? It's like, okay, so like if you're like it's like
the weird thing is like Magic is Richard Garfield's creation, and he just kind of like, he's no longer in the spotlight. He's like, I made this thing, I'm not really interested in actively producing it anymore. It's like, not that he is embarrassed by it, but it's just like you said, he's doing other things now.
Yeah, he's got other games under his belt. There's like recent games that he's been designer for.
Right, like he did King of Tokyo, which is like a really successful game that you could go to like any like Target or Barnes and Noble, whatever. You'll see King of Tokyo there. It's like sold millions of copies.
Yeah, and like every game store has a copy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like open, ready to play.
Right.
And you have a copy, don't you?
I have a copy of King of Tokyo. Yeah.
I think we played it before, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that game. I do think that some of the items in that game are broken, but that's a separate issue.
Well, I mean, it's not as deep as Magic, but yeah, it's like a kid's board game.
All right, yeah, it's a kid's board game. Whatever, RC, just criticize me more. Okay.
You just don't know the real King of Tokyo strategy, man.
Oh, you're right.
I'm just getting those extra heads so you can roll the green dice.
You can roll the green dice, dude. I love rolling the green dice. This is my favorite part of that game.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because you're childish. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's like the whole like Richard Garfield and Mark Rosewater thing. Like the fact that like the only reason Richard Garfield has not been more involved with Magic is because Richard Garfield is like too prideful to like let someone who's better at him than at his job than he is to like take over a little bit. Because when Richard Garfield comes in, no one's gonna give a shit about Mark Rosewater like anymore. Because like like that's the guy. Like he designed Grizzly Bears. Okay, he's. Yeah, anyone who can design a card like Grizzly Bears, way over the top of wherever Mark Rosewater is.
Well, I mean, he established what the curve was and stuff. I mean,
he designed the color. He designed the color pie. the idea,
and then
like
Mark Rosewater proceeded to pervert it for the next decade.
Yeah, man. And he always acts like he's a color pie purist, but all this like color pie breaking has happened under his watch. So
right now we got black, green, Sarah Angels flying around.
yeah, oh my god, if actually I won't say that, but the oh my black green. That's what I'm gonna say like I said, every set from now on. I'm just gonna write to Mark Rosewater's Twitter. I'll be like, "Where's the black, green Sarah Angel?"
Yeah. I have a Gitrog Monster EDH deck that really needs that black, green Sarah Angel.
Yeah, I saw one of those like it was like roses are red, violets are blue, Sarah Angel is black, green, and fuck you too. Oh, I saw that on Twitter one day. I actually laughed audibly. That was funny to me. But
all right. So we talked about Magic Pedophiles. We talked about the Fat Pack. Do you want to talk about? You said you had a sports segment for us.
I'm just really excited. So one thing I'm actually happy about this week is last night the Sixers beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Philadelphia 76ers defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers by 2. I think it was 132-30. Well, 130. And I know you don't care, RC, but this puts them as a 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference standings. Which will allow them to not have to play the Indiana Pacers in the first round and instead the Miami Heat, which I would like better because their best player is injured right now and he probably could come back soon, but they don't have a timetable yet. Okay. So I'd rather them face a weaker opponent than a stronger one in the first round of the playoffs to try and give their best player, Joel Embiid, a more time to recover. I'm very excited about this. I know most of our listeners probably don't care about basketball, but I do.
There's some out there that do.
Yeah, so I care. There's just a little update. I'm really excited about that. It'll be the first Sixers playoff berth in a number of years. They've already. It's going to be great. Can't wait. So, yeah.
When was the last time the Sixers were good? Like when they had Allen Iverson?
Yeah, it was the last time they were actually good. Yeah. They made the playoffs after that, but they were always like the 7th or 8th seed, and they got knocked out in like the first round because they suck. So they basically did this thing where they the way it works the way it works in every sport is you get a better draft pick.
The worse season, right?
Yeah, but so they basically they tanked on purpose.
Yeah, which is a good strategy.
Which is a good strategy, but they got a lot of criticism for it.
Oh yeah, it goes against the spirit, like sports.
It goes against the spirit of the game. I agree, but. Yeah. The thing is like if you want to get better, okay, it's for basketball. It doesn't work in any sport except for basketball, because in basketball, in like the draft of like the college players you have to draft from to get into the NBA.
Yes. Like
the quality of players from like 1 and 2 drop severely once you get to like just the 3rd player. Like the first 2 players are usually like really, really, really good. And then it's like mediocre at best after that.
Okay, which is, I would, no, these are all borrowed ideas. I'm not a sports theorist or anything, but I do work with a guy who is really big in the sports, and he does not like basketball. And his reason for that is because he thinks it's not really a team sport. It's kind of like you can have a superstar and that just carries the entire team. And by you saying that the 1st and 2nd pick are great and there's a big division between the 2nd and 3rd pick, that would lead me to think that is true, that basketball is all about having like one superstar and the rest are just support characters.
Well, now it's about getting more than one superstar on your team because they figured out that we can just the superstars figured out that they could just collude together and all go to the same team.
Yeah.
And they can just win championships that way. So yeah, I agree basketball is not in the best place it could be right now as a sport.
Sure.
But the thing is like other players matter more than what that guy says because like things like having a good bench is actually pretty important in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, like last year's finals, for example, like the best player was LeBron James, but his team was just not the best team.
Mm-hmm.
Because like don't get me wrong, the other team, the Golden State Warriors, had superstars on it. Like they had like 4 all-star caliber players as their as 4 of their starting 5 players. But they also just had a better bench than because the way it works in basketball is you do a lot of subbing in and out of the players like because it's a long game and basketball is pretty tiring. So you usually sit some of your players at some point. So especially like down the stretch, you can have your best players out there. That's usually when the game matters the most. Like in the last like 5 minutes of the game. So a lot of times you put your bench. So if you have players on your bench that can actually like defend and score and not just be slouches, that like really helps out a lot. Especially with like it might not matter that much for like regular season games, but when the playoffs come around, it super matters.
All right.
So I agree with that guy that superstars matter a lot, which is why the Sixers have the tank to like get like they have two so basically so in one draft they drafted their best player on the team is a guy named Joel Embiid who's a center. He's just like he's like a physical freak. He's like 7 feet tall. He can shoot. He can do all the things a great center would be able to do. In addition to being able to shoot free throws, which other people you would know like Shaquille O'Neal, who's a legend. Don't get me wrong, but couldn't shoot free throws.
I've heard that before, sure.
Or a lesser version would be like Dwight Howard, who was very good in his time, but can't shoot free throws.
Okay.
But the key to that, the reason that it's really important if you're a dominant center like that can shoot free throws is usually when they're scoring baskets, they're like in what's called in the paint, which means like they're close to the basket.
Yes.
If they're doing that, it's easy to get fouled, which is like someone like interferes with your shot, basically. Because you're like
in free throws and you want them to get those free throws,
and you want to be able to make it, obviously.
Yeah.
That was like a strategy to beat Shaquille O'Neal back in the day. It was called Shaq Attack, where you just designated people to foul Shaq so he couldn't make the baskets, and then he wouldn't be able to hit the free throws.
So that's what Shaq Attack is. I remember that little song. Do you remember that little jingle? It was like Shaq Attack's back. I want to play basketball like that.
Well, no, I think it turned into a term of endearment, but I think original.
Oh, that's awesome. He took back the term and he like re-empowered it. That's great.
Yeah, or something like that. Like I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. I'm sure. Actually, I'm one of the people who listens to the show is like a basketball fanatic, so he's probably gonna. He's also the same guy who like one of the guys who was mad at me about getting war games wrong or whatever. So I'm sure he'll like fucking correct me and be like, actually, it was called. And,
okay. All right. Well, if that guy's listening or does listen to this, please write in the comments why inform us about Shaq Attack and the history of Shaq Attack.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not I love watching sports and I'm a big Philly sports fan, but I'm not the best fan of the game in that like historical facts and stuff about the game and like stats and stuff. I'm not really good with memorizing, but I really like to watch the games and I always root for my team and I'm really glad the Sixers are good and I like that. So yeah, so they drafted Joel Embiid and then they tanked and got the first pick in the next year's draft and they got a guy named Ben Simmons who
Ben Simmons does not sound like a basketball player.
No, he's from Australia, but he's black.
Okay, all right.
And he's okay. So is
he black or is he like Aborigine black?
No, I think he's like black.
So he's like so he's ancestry from Africa, not from.
Well, I think he's mixed. He's like he's light skinned.
Okay.
I think he's at least mixed. Maybe I don't know. Right. I could be wrong. But he's like really, really good. So he plays with a position called point guard. So while he can score, he's not a shooter. So he's not that great at free throws, and he's not that great at like just shooting the basket from like any like large distance. But he's a very smart guy. Like he's one of the only guys that plays like actually smart in the NBA, in addition to being physically dominant.
Okay.
But great at passing, being able to like open up a defense. Really changes the game when he's on the floor, and he's great to have. And the Sixers had this whole thing which they call the process, which is a lot of people like make fun of it because basically it's just code for we're going to tank until we're good.
Their process, okay.
But they also the thing is they use their draft picks on players that like other people wouldn't draft for like other reasons. Because it would take them longer to play. Like, so, for example, when Joel Embiid was drafted, he was supposed to be the first overall pick, but he ended up going third to the Sixers because he broke his foot. He like broke his foot like right before the draft, so he like fell in the draft order. So he was already ruled out for his whole first season. He was not going to be able to play. which, if you don't know, for centers, especially like 7 foot tall people, if you have problems with your feet, that's a really bad sign.
Okay.
Which scares a lot of teams because with basketball, you're running up and down a hardwood floor all night.
Yeah.
So it's not great on your feet.
Yeah.
Especially and when you're a 7 foot tall person, there's a lot of strain on the lower half of your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So that scared off a lot of people. So basically, they drafted a guy who wasn't going to play for like 2 years, basically. To like play. They also drafted a guy named Dario Saric, who when he was drafted was playing in a Turkish league, and he was like contracted under this Turkish team, and he was not going to be able to come over and play for the Sixers for like 2 years.
Okay.
And which was another person that like people weren't going to draft because of that, but they did anyway. And now he's over and he's playing and he's really good.
Cool. All right.
So that was like part of the process. And it was all designed by a guy named Sam Hinkie, which I'm sure you know comes from a certain group of people that are very good
at their love of numbers and manipulating numbers and that sort of thing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that kind of person. So,
Sam Hinkie. Okay.
Sam Hinkie, he died for our sins, man. He actually got fired by the team. He actually got fired by the team like 3 years into his reign, I think.
Really?
But they I don't know why. I don't know. It could have been just with like differences, and they hired this other guy, but they just kept going with the plan. And I mean, and now they're good. So
all right.
That's how it is, you know. And I guess we talked about sports for a while, or basketball for a while now. But I just want to get that little update in because I'm excited about it, and it's one thing I like.
Yeah, that's cool. Is there any other things you want to talk about? I mean, I know baseball season just started up. Do you care about that at all?
Oh yeah, I love baseball. I play fantasy baseball. It's one of my favorite things. I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan, obviously. They've had a rough start, but I think they just won a game 20-1 today, which is kind of insane.
Okay.
So there's that. So it looks like they're looking up. I think their starting pitching definitely needs work, but I think if their manager pulls his head out of his ass and they actually, they start to play okay, then I think they have a decent shot at making the playoffs this year as a wild card. But we'll see. I do love baseball and I love watching. I always put it on in the lobby at work to help pass the time. But that's about it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm baseball. So football I guess would be my favorite sport to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But I love baseball too, and I love basketball. I haven't been really that into basketball for a while because the Sixers have been so bad for so long. They haven't been good since I was a kid and Iverson was still playing. So, and that was like when I was a little kid. But yeah. I love Philly sports. Though, and the hockey season is about to end, and I think the Flyers won big today, but they need to pull their heads out of their asses too. So
when's the Stanley Cup happen?
Soon.
It's kind of bizarre to me that it's like already like spring and hockey has not been resolved yet. I mean, I don't follow sports, but it just seems weird to me that it would go into the next season.
Yeah, I mean I could see that, but the thing they don't play outside, so it's like
no, they don't. But it's a winter sport, or people associate it as a winter sport.
Yeah, I agree. It's just the season's 82 games, and then the playoffs. I don't even think the playoffs have started yet. So
okay,
well, there's that.
All right, so that's our sports update.
Yep. Get ready for one of those every 9 episodes.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Just you're gonna have to do most of the talking because all I can go off of is what people tell me at work.
All right. You want to go to the trailer now, or are we running out of time?
Well, we're about 4 minutes short of an hour, so we could even table a few segments if you wanted to.
Yeah, let's table some stuff and let's go to the trailer and we'll end on that. How about that?
All right, that sounds good. Okay, so this is for Dominaria. It's the upcoming set that I think is going to be released in like a week or two. And we played the traditional one, or I guess the first one they released last week, and then during the week I found there was this other Dominaria trailer, so we're going to play that and see if there's any more interesting tidbits in there. So
all right.
When you're ready, we'll do the 3, 2, 1 and we'll hit play. So tell me when you're ready.
Okay, when I say go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, I'm going to pause it here.
Okay.
Okay, so that little building, we talked about that last week. You were like, "Is that the Tolarian Academy?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think it is. It's by the water." It turns out that was actually another land of some sort. It might have been the isolated chapel, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or I mean, it's whatever. It's not the Tolarian Academy. All right,
Okay.
keep going.
You fought for Dominaria before. Stood against impossible odds and won.
This isn't my fight anymore.
This is everyone's fight.
I've moved on. I'm not the hero.
You have to.
All right, so we'll pause it there. That
Okay.
was this is Teferi, and it's kind of strange. It's like going back and forth from him being an old man and then he's being younger.
Yeah,
And
I was really about to say, like, he like changed races 3 times during that like 10 seconds.
And I'm getting some like Wakanda vibes too from some of the artwork.
Dude, Wakanda.
Wakanda.
For it. I just so like we besides at work I have a thing going where I like get everyone like we just walk around all saying like I never freeze. Like we just go around saying that.
Never.
So, we're like because I work at a pizza place and they're like, well, when they call us, they'll be like, do you freeze your dough? I'll say I never freeze. I never. I never freeze. I never freeze. And like we'll get like shipments and stuff. Like we'll get like a box of like I don't know like icing for like the cinnamon bread or whatever.
Yeah.
And like on the box it'll say like do not freeze, and I'll be like, look, it says do not freeze. You know what? I never freeze. I never freeze. But yeah.
All right, so they're setting up Teferi to be the big hero of this story, and
who's the woman talking to him? Do you know?
That might be revealed at the end of the trailer.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
or either that, or I'm guessing it's probably Joyra. I don't know though. But it looks like I don't know if you're on the pane where it shows the Cabal, but they're all white, of course, and they're the evil guys. So.
Wait, let me go back to the Cabal. Hold on.
Well, it's on 26 seconds.
Okay, I'm there now. Go.
Evil is taking root. Alone. Heroes are rising. Legends of the past and future.
Okay, so they pause it there. They're just showing 3 big heroes, or what they're claiming to be heroes. You got the Middle Eastern guy, the aging feminist, and then the young shaved head feminist.
Yeah, those are the heroes, and then Wakanda.
I'm gonna hit play again.
Okay.
Remember who you are. You are a planeswalker.
Whoa, you're a planeswalker. Okay. What does that have to do with anything? There's evil planeswalkers and there's good ones.
Yeah,
even being a planeswalker doesn't have anything to do with whether he like does the right thing or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Is the speaking supposed to be directed to the player? Like, you know, purchase this product. You're special. You're a planeswalker. Like, help us out.
Maybe that's like the subtle thing, but like she's talking to Teferi.
Yeah, that's the way it seems.
So
there is I think there's a card in this set called Oath of Teferi, so like maybe it's implied that he joins the Gatewatch.
Yeah, he joins the Gatewatch, which is stupid. Because if I was to,
there are no black people in there. The Gatewatch was racist prior to him joining.
Wait. You're 100% correct. Yeah, so the Gatewatch was super racist prior to him joining. So,
but now it's diversified, so it's stronger now.
For sure. Where's man?
I actually like Teferi as a character. I think he's cool. I just don't like the way they market this stuff.
Well, no, yeah. The thing is like that's the See, that's the other thing. It's gonna be awful. Is they're gonna ruin the old characters.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy.
Like, imagine like Giant Ballard, like her card, her task mage card is literally her. She looks like she wants to fuck you on the card.
Yeah,
right?
she's wearing like an Avengers like style cat suit, and she's like spinning fire around. She's
In like a whip
powerful.
formation. Like she looks like powerful and sexy, right?
Yeah,
That's what looks like the card was going for.
Yeah.
Now I'm pretty sure she's gonna go for old and man hating is what they're going for now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
oh man, I am.
So that's the trailer. So now I guess we could talk about the cards or like the overall
Side note,
impressions of the set.
side note, one of the videos that's like suggested is is from Geek and Sundry, which contains the guy Day 9 and the girl Felicia Day.
Yeah,
I just want to, like, as a side note, I'm probably gonna get some heat for this.
Yeah.
But as a side note, I think an easy way to get like lots of attention if you're like a girl and you're like a 6 is to like be into nerd stuff, because like,
or at least while the camera's rolling, be into nerd stuff. I mean,
be in the nerd stuff, right? Because then to them you're like a 9.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that was the same thing for a certain cosplayer that got Jeremy banned.
Sprinkle. Yeah.
I think Sprinkle was like she had. Oh my gosh, she had some features that were nice, but at best she was a 6.5. Sure. But if you do cosplay, then you have nerds wanting to give you money to like send you private photos. Right. So,
well, okay, I will admit, if a woman likes the things that I like, or at least some of the things I like, that does like having common interests is something that will raise a person's like appeal to. I would, most people.
For me, absolutely not.
No.
So I'm the opposite. Like if I ever wanted a girl, I would want her to not be into magic whatsoever. I would want her to not be into sports whatsoever. Like basically none of the things I'm into, what I want her to be into.
So what would she be into? Like music and art and stuff like that, or what?
Like cooking. That'd be nice.
Cleaning the bathroom.
No.
Doing laundry.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Like seriously.
I think I just said that to like piss whoever was listening off. But no.
All right, but
okay. No, but like I would like her to have interests, just not my interests. That's all.
Okay, but like once you're like hypothetically so she doesn't like the stuff you like, but once you guys are together, you're gonna want to share the things that you like with her. You're gonna want to like show her how to play magic.
Absolutely not.
You would not. Okay, all right.
No, because like magic's like magic would be my time to like go hang out with the guys. If I want to go hang out with the guys, I don't want to go hang out with my girl, my wife, girlfriend, significant other, whatever.
Okay, weeaboo or waifu or whatever. Yeah.
What?
Waifu.
What's a waifu?
It's like a Japanese word for a girl crush or something.
Oh, that's pretty weird that you know about stuff like that, dude, but okay.
I just hear this from other people.
Oh, okay. You just hear it from other people. Okay. I see how it is.
Well,
I'm just selling RC down the river right now.
Dude, you know more stuff about memes and shit than I do, so you would know what it means.
Yeah, I know exactly what it means, but you know,
am I right in my assessment or not?
Kind of, yeah. Basically, you're right. But
well, at least I.
But no, I want to talk about this for a second though. But I just want to say that like that's like the whole point. Like, for example, like the thing is like I don't want. Would you want your girl to be like one of the dudes? Like I don't understand. But to me, that's what it implies. Like if a girl's like a lot of guys I've talked to, like, oh yeah, I'd love for a girl to like want to sit down and watch a game with me. I'm like, why? Why?
Okay, how about this? Like, I would like. Okay, so like let's wind the clock back a few years, and I'm like really into magic cards. I'm not as into them now as I used to be, but I'm really into magic cards. Okay, and I find a girl that is more into like role-playing games or cosplay or like steampunk or something like that, where it's like it's not the exact same thing I'm into, but it's like
like adjacent
like realm of like stuff. So like we could watch a show together that maybe has like the same like these type of like geek themes or whatever. And we both like would get something out of it. That maybe that's what I'm referring to. I don't want her to be like a carbon copy of my interests.
Oh no, I understand that. Like to me, I'm more traditional in this sense with that kind of stuff. Like I don't know. I guess like what I find most attractive about women is femininity. So anything I see as masculine that they would be into, I would like find that not great. But whatever. That's just me. It's my personal. But everyone's the thing is, I think everyone should have their personal opinion on this, and whatever floats your boat, whatever. Like, I'm all about people should be happy. So whatever makes you happy, go for it.
What about board games? Like board games are kind of, I would say, gender neutral. What if a girl was like into playing board games? Would that be, or is that like a guy thing?
Well, it depends on what the board games. Is she into like Risk? That's a guy thing. Is she into? I'm trying to think of like a. Like, is she into like Munchkin or like?
Yeah, how about Munchkin? Munchkin's
or like
kind of
like Munch. If she's into like Munchkin or like Cards Against Humanity or like something like that, like that's fine. Like that's whatever.
All right.
But like if a girl was like heavy into, oh man, I love to play
like
Zaya or like Gloomhaven or like what's that other one called? Pandemic. Like then it gets a little
okay. I think Pandemic's probably one that could go either way.
Yeah, that would be the closest one. You're right. But
okay. Well, I think I understand what you're saying. There's some games that are just more masculine at heart.
No, that's just what like I value like personally, my personal opinion, like the more feminine a woman is, the more attractive she is to me personally. Not in general. I'm not saying that like not trying to impose my male standards of whatever onto your go somewhere else. But but what I'm saying, like, that's just saying that my personal opinion. So if like a girl was like into playing Magic, I see Magic as a mostly masculine thing, or at least it was.
They're trying real hard to reverse it. I don't know if it's going to happen though.
Oh well, they're just not into it. Like they were just. I was watching a debate that Tara Sophia girl, the trans person I showed you, was like debating one of the like she was she was on the anti-diversity Magic side, and the other person was like pro Magic diversity side, right?
All right.
And she was like, well, if you want more women in the game, you have to improve. You have to do different things than what you're doing right now. So, like, putting more women on the cards isn't going to do anything. What you should do is, the first things he said was, like, you need to make the game stores cleaner. Because women don't like, because, like, guys are fine hanging out. Like, if you, I know the one we went to is kind of, the one that we met at RC is a little bit of an anomaly in the game store world and how nice it was.
Yeah.
But a lot of these places are dirty and grimy, and a lot of the people there smell, and like women don't want to be around that, or at least most women don't. So that'd be one way you could get more women into the game, is by fixing that problem any way you could, by basically imposing like hygiene and cleanliness standards to like all local game stores.
Sure.
And secondly, you could make the cards cheaper. For example, because a lot of women, when they're doing their budgets for the month, Magic cards aren't really on the aren't even close to the list. You know what I mean? Of things to spend their money. Like even not married women and single women alike. Magic cards is just not the kind of thing that they want to spend their money on.
No, there's many other places I think women like to spend their money, not on games.
Exactly, and that's just like any game. It's just like, you know, I'm not saying like a thing like again. You know, I'm not even going to qualify. Usually at this point, I'd say, like, of course, I'm not talking about not all, but if you're going to, like, straw man me like that, then
we're generalizing. We're generalizing on all this stuff, okay?
Yeah.
I think just the format of the game of Magic plays heavily on the male mind, because you're collecting resources, building upon your resources, and then there's an active combat between you and an opponent, and that's a very male thing to do, is acquire resources and then use them in battle. And I know it's just cards, but that's what's going on like in your head, and that's the way males are programmed, and females are programmed to do other things besides that. So I just think the game structure,
females are programmed to be more females are programmed to be more agreeable in nature,
which is why Pandemic would be a good game for, you know, men and women, because you're working together.
Exactly, I guess. But what I would say is, like, that's one of the reasons why, like, just competitive things in general are male dominated, because women biologically are just not as competitive as men.
women are the
it
prime.
goes back. It goes back to like caveman days, because you remember like the man had to compete for their mates, right? And they also had to compete to get food, right? Whereas the women, for example, right, they usually had multiple children, right? Sure. And when you're like pregnant with a child and you have like a 2-year-old already, right, you're gonna need help, because a lot of time your man's gonna be out hunting for your meal, right? So you need to gain access to the resources of the other women of the tribe or whatever you're in. Like if we're talking about caveman days, right?
Wait, you're saying a woman needs to gain the resources of the other women in the tribe? She has
to not the resource, not physical resources, but the like the attention and the trust, basically. Like they had to be, like, women had to be agreeable, right? Because they had to make sure that the other women would watch their children when they couldn't watch them.
Yes.
Basically, because the men wouldn't be there all the time, because they had to be out hunting almost all day, every day, to make sure that food was on the table.
Yeah, sure. And somebody's got to like make the, skin clothes and tend to the fire.
Yeah, the thing is like, the women still had to work and do stuff, obviously. Maybe not as physically strenuous as what the men were doing, obviously, because they were bearing children. But the thing is, they still had to do stuff, and the thing is, you couldn't always keep an eye on like I said, these women were having as many children as possible, because people were always fucking. So, like, they were having as many children as possible. So they were always dying. So there was lots of these young children running around, and you had to make sure they weren't eaten by a saber-toothed tiger or whatever. Yeah. So you had to there had to be like a group mentality to where, all right, I need to be nice to the other women in the tribe, or else they're not going to watch my kids for me while my back's turned, right? That's where like women had to be more agreeable than men. They had to like go along with more and to put up with more in those days, because they had to earn the trust of other people in the tribe to make sure that their interests were taken care of, and the women's interests were their children, right?
Okay, so what about the idea that like humanity distilled down to its like most basic form, you could compare it to like a troop of gorillas, where there's like the alpha male who breeds with like all the women, and then there's like a few beta males that hang around, and maybe like somewhere between 15 and 20% of the time they get to breed with the women, like when the alpha's back's turned. So there's basically an alpha male, and then there's these beta males that don't get laid as much as the alpha. And modern society is kind of based on the concept of beta males get to mate a little more often than that. And that's kind of what establishes society and trust amongst like all people in the culture.
Yeah, so
would you agree with that? Because we don't really have
kind of basically, though. I would say that humans have been what's the word, monogamistic for much longer than you think, really. Like I don't like, obviously, like polyamory has existed in human culture, and it's definitely a thing.
Right, we're making generalizations again.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, when humanity like exploded into like the most success and the most success and like happiness and like wealth and creation that was ever made under humanity was under a time when like monogamy was like the standard, and that anything else was considered like taboo.
But I think monogamy has been the standard since at least written history.
It has.
They weren't like, it wasn't like one dude and like 6 women. It was like everybody had a wife and that type of thing.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm talking about like before written language. This changed from like the alpha and the betas to the betas being, getting a little more equality, sexual equality. That happened probably when we were still like grunting and scratching and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just asking if you agree with that idea or not, or
that probably. I mean, yeah, we definitely came from apes, so I would assume that like we can't know for sure, but yeah. I would say that would make sense to me, that we probably did have like an ape-like structure for a long time.
Mhm.
and then we just developed socially and culturally into what was a more efficient way to live. Like it was since we're very social animals, right? And
Mhm.
we have a high intelligence, so like compared to every other animal, obviously.
Yes.
I think it just made it, like the fact, and like the thing is, we have a high intelligence but not great physical strengths compared to other animals.
Yes.
The fact that we had to work together to survive
Yes.
just led to the fact that it was better to have monogamous relationships,
Okay.
like so that the beta males had their own wives.
Yes.
But like it worked the same way. It worked the way, but I think honestly, I think it worked that way up until like
Islam.
19. Yeah, okay. If we want to just go
And you
through
can see the way
Western,
they live. They're not very civilized.
if we just want to go through Western history, like okay, so the way it worked up until very recently, until like third wave feminism took hold in the young people, right? Because this is a major problem. Because until that took hold, what would happen is like you dated and married like in your league, right? Like eights would date with eights, fours would date with fours, five would date with fives, right?
Yep.
But what ended up happening was, like these women who now they're quote sexually liberated, right? Have decided that no, I don't want, like if you're a six, right? You don't want to date a six. You want to get the 10 male. You want to get the alpha male, right?
Yeah.
But you can't have
only if he's sufficiently emasculated.
No, but no, the thing is like not even that. Like they want a masculine male. Okay. It's not about getting an emasculated male. It's about you just want to be with the best male. But the thing is, he's not going to want to be with you for more than one night, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing is like all these women are sleeping around. It's a lot of like the college sexual liberation culture that's been created. Yeah. These women are sleeping around with like they want to have the best guy, and like they think that's what they want, right? But what they really want is security. Right, but they think that's what they want, right? So they end up just like sleeping around with like the best guys, but never settling down because like the best guys, it's just all thrown at them, so they don't have to settle down. They can like the thing is like the old creepy phrase of like I get older, but they just keep getting younger, right? We're like these guys can wait till they're 30 and then get the same girls that are like 22 and get one because they can just date whoever they want because they have a lot of value in this. Like men now have more value than women in the sexual marketplace, depending on the age group, which is wrong. It should be the other way around. Yeah, right?
Women should be more valuable. Yeah,
women should be more valuable in this. But since
as
women,
long as women keep spreading their legs, they're not going to be that valuable.
Yeah, like Dave Chappelle used to say, you flooded the market with pussy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's the problem. Like because like I have to find this YouTuber again. You'd probably like these videos, but there's this guy he like talks about like all these like sexual like these psychologists or sexual psychologists they call themselves, where they're like they're trying to explain that like yeah like these women who get to like 35, 40 and never were married, right? And they're like, what happened? Why can't I find someone? And they're like, because all the young males are just dating the young women, and the men that are their age are also just dating the young women. Right, because they have that option. Like her, what she's willing to offer is not good on the sexual marketplace, right? Especially because when you consider wanting to have children, right? Like both men and women want to have children, like biologically. So
yes,
like, and when you want to have children, you want to find the best mate. Like honestly, that's what our subconscious usually finds attractive in people. Like, yeah, everyone has their own little fetishes and like things, but like most men like are into women who look healthy, childbearing hips, right? That kind of stuff. Like those are considered like attractive features to men.
Yeah, the right proportions and like the right amount of body fat and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and then for women, it's usually just like strong men, right? Obviously, someone who could like keep them secure, both physically and financially. I'm getting off on this. Oh, that's not what I wanted to say. I'm getting off topic on this.
Felicia Day's an ugly pig, and we don't like her.
No, she's not that ugly.
No, she's not that ugly. She's not that
okay
ugly.
looking, but I'm just saying that, like, if she was in a different business, she wouldn't have made it that far. Is all I'm saying.
I totally understand that. Yeah, I understand.
That. I can't believe we got all the way on that just because I mentioned Felicia Day. But I'm awful, man. I'm awful.
All right. Well,
I can't wait till this video goes up. I'll never get a job again. Holy. Good thing no one knows who I am.
you want to just talk about these Dominaria cards? Like, well, maybe when the whole set's out, we can do a whole talk about them. We're over an hour at this point.
Yeah, I assume so. All I'll say is, like, the sagas are just as stupid as I thought they'd be.
Yeah, like, the templating is pretty stupid, and none of them are really that powerful.
Yeah, and I was told this was Richard Garfield's idea, these sagas.
Really?
But I don't know. I think he designed them a little differently. But I just think this is so dumb. Like, why do they have to not? Why can't they just? Why does it have to look different from a regular Magic? Like, if I was like building a cube, right? Even if one of these was good, I'd never include it because it just looks so different from a regular Magic card.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I want my Magic cards to look like. I know I'm kind of pulling at your heartstrings here, but I want my Magic cards to look like Magic cards.
Yeah, these don't look like Magic cards.
I don't think they've released the art for that one angel or knight I really like. So I'm hoping that one doesn't have a shaved side of her head.
Wait, the black zombie one? They do have that one out.
They do?
Yeah, the Joss Vest one?
No, not that one.
Oh, okay.
The one that makes knights.
The one that makes knights. Oh, okay,
They released the art for that yet? No, they didn't. It's Ariel, Knight of Windgrace. It's a black-white card.
Oh, cool.
They've not released the art yet. I'm assuming it's a woman from the name Ariel.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it's a beautiful woman, not what's it called? The Capuchin.
The Capuchin, yeah. The artwork for Tolarian Scholar. This looks like the way that the globalists envision the entire world population will look like in the future. It's like a gender ambiguous, racial ambiguous, kind of like not attractive weirdo.
Oh my god! It looks like they literally just like they took like a guy that like was in one of my classes at college, and that was the person they used as the like they didn't want to make him look with.
I mean, what race is he? And he, she, whatever. And then it's got like this weird man bun thing on its head. I don't know. It's dumb looking.
As opposed to the Cabal Evangel to his right here, the is just a very pale white person who's evil.
Evil, yep.
Evil, white evil. I mean, to be fair, there are white people on the good guy cards. I'm not trying.
Yeah, there are. Joyra's white.
Yeah,
she's pretty hot too.
Yeah, Joy. Oh, dude, she could time spin on me all day.
She's. Let's see. Oh,
let me guess. She's probably a lesbian. Let's be honest.
No. Oh, they'll make her in the one.
No, it's funny, no, because like it's like diversity in comics says is like every woman's a lesbian. And they immediately are in a relationship with each other, even if they just met because they're both lesbians. And that's it. I'm really sad. We talked about this before the stream, but I'm really sad that Tetsuko Umezawa is a woman for some reason.
Shaved head woman.
That surprised me because Tetsuko sounds like a male Japanese name to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's a woman, but I don't know what can you do. Also, I thought it was an amputee. I thought it was an amputee at first, but I realized that like I just was looking at the art weird. So whatever. Also, I don't understand. So this is one of the racial things that doesn't make sense to me.
Sure.
Right? Because were there any Asian people on Dominaria? Because like
only. Because like Zawa, I think, was on Dominaria.
Yeah, but he got like exiled there, right?
He gets somehow warped. He's not a planeswalker, but somehow he's able to like get warped to Dominaria, and that's where he ended up.
Yeah, but I don't understand how his like bloodline was able to stay for her to take a
Oh, yeah, stay looking Asian. I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah, how are they able to stay looking Asian over like generations when like he's the only one?
I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with these portals because Tetsuko's walking through a portal in her artwork. So maybe he was able to like go back and forth to Kamigawa from Dominaria. I have no idea. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, the character right above her, Nabin or Naban, Dean of Iteration, kind of looks like Doctor Strange.
He does kind of look Doctor Strange. He kind of looks like a little, I don't know. Yeah, he does look like Doctor Strange. It's a little weird. But apparently he's the Dean of Iteration at a Tolarian College or whatever it's called.
A cross between Doctor Strange and like the new Aquaman character.
Oh yeah, and the guy he also kind of looks like what's that show, Adult Swim show called? The Venture Brothers.
Yeah, Venture, but yeah, he's the Monarch.
He's the Monarch. Or wait,
Monarch. Okay,
I think he's the Monarch. I think that guy's
the Monarch's like the head evil guy.
Yeah, I think he's the head evil guy. I think a little bit. I could be wrong. I didn't really watch that show. I was more into Aqua Teen Hunger Force. That was my Adult Swim show.
That was a good show.
I used to watch it as a kid and be like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like I didn't understand any of it. Like I was like a kid. I was like, "This is way over my head."
Yeah.
I have to rewatch it now and see if I like get stuff.
There's definitely some funny episodes. I had the DVD set whenever they released that. It was probably like the first like 1 or 2 seasons. I had that at one point. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay, Lyra Dawnbringer, the heir to Rhea Dawnbringer. Rhea was white, Lyra's black. The problem is there are black people on Dominaria because the whole continent of Jamura is black people, but like they're really putting a lot of them in this set. Sarah Angel's now black for some reason.
Oh, really? They made the Sarah Angel black too?
Or at least she's like yeah, she looks black from a distance. Maybe she's like a dark Hispanic or something like that.
Yeah, I don't, dude.
I love the art on Dauntless Bodyguard. It's like a man being defended by a woman who's a knight. So it's like, okay, that's what you want feminism to be like? Sure, fine. Take an arrow. I don't care. Do you see the artwork on that?
Yeah. It's supposed to be like a weak man has to be protected by the strong woman.
Strong woman.
Dude, that is so dumb. No,
that just sums up Wizards of the Coast like philosophy on Magic. Just Dauntless Bodyguard.
Exactly. Like I don't understand. Like, but the thing is like women and like diversity has always been part of the game from the first set. That it's been the reason people have a problem with it is like they're like shouting it from the rooftops that they're so diverse, like they're the progenitors of diversity. Right?
Yeah.
Like Richard Garfield already had diversity in the game way before you people.
Right.
Like if you want to look at like stuff like feminist propaganda that got pulled into Magic immediately, before people even complained about it. Just look at like demons and angels, right? Demons were always male and angels were always female. Right?
Yeah, actually Jeremy from Unsleeved Media had a little video where he got he had like an audio, or he had a video clip of one of the creative guys saying that, we always do demons as men because then you don't feel bad killing them.
Well, yeah, well, like that guy's an idiot. Yeah. But like to me, like I like that. Like that's a nice dichotomy. It makes sense. Plus, I like to see attractive angels. Like that's cool.
Yeah, male angels should not exist.
Yeah, the world of Magic. Yeah, in the world of Magic, there shouldn't be. I agree, there shouldn't be any male angels. But if you want to be diverse, there should be some. Just saying.
Yeah.
I want Archangel Michael on the card. That'd be great. It looks like John Travolta, and
it would be some sort of indestructible thing that you could tap it and.
Destroy target bull creature.
Yeah. Well, we should probably get going, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I rambled and kept this, but I think this is good. We talked about a lot of stuff.
We did. We did.
It's going to be a lot of work for me to put all the timestamps in. I can't wait for that. It's going to be great. Yeah. I'm joking, by the way. All right. And if you want to enter into our next giveaway, please leave a like on the video, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. We're giving away a booster box, Millennia of Ages from Force of Will. They go for about $10 on eBay, so it's pretty good value.
Do they have to answer any questions or anything? Maybe they can.
Oh yeah.
Email to our official email address.
Yes. So you have to send an email to our email address, giving us your favorite color in Magic and real life,
and of people,
and of people, and you have to leave a comment on this video answering our secret question. The secret question will be revealed in our 10th episode. It'll be a special episode, so get ready.
Okay. Oh, so they have to listen to the 10th episode, then come back and comment on the 9th one. I like it.
Yeah. They have to come back and comment on this one once they listen to the 10th one.
Nice.
To answer the secret question. Yeah, exactly. We gotta get that watch time. I know there are no advertisements on our videos because why would they put any? But
yeah.
But I mean, hey, we gotta get these people watching.
That's right. So our email address is GCAP, GCAP, PODCAST. So that's GCAP podcast @gmail.com.
Yep. And my personal email, I'm just kidding. All right, guys. It's been good. RC, any closing thoughts?
Nah, I think we did a good job. We're good.
All right. Thank you for listening to episode 9. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.